Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. This is the Petri dish. There's something growing in here, and today it's just the ever-increasing doubt of creating content. That's right. It's a solo podcast today, and it ain't gonna be long. You know, I can talk for over an hour, but that's not a good thing. I can also talk over people for more than an hour. Also not a good thing. I know that I am in charge of my fate, and that anything I do, I've got to do, because no one's going to do it for me, as if anyone would want to make this podcast for me. I'm not like Conan. I can't have a podcast all about me that I have guests on to talk about me. Or what was that one Lauren Lapkus podcast where she had other people come in and she was the guest and they were the podcast host as the guest. Anyway, enough about way better comedians and ideas than I can have. Today, I'm here. I'm just here to talk some shit. Here to talk some shit, get some stuff out there into the world, and update everybody on where I am in my life, because that's what this fucking show is anyway. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. That's not a thing you say for Thanksgiving, is it? I don't know. I know lots of people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you know, for their own various reasons. I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. I celebrate overeating, which is not a thing that should be celebrated, but also I do it in my day-to-day life anyway. So what makes Thanksgiving any more special? Fucking nothing. That's what I was. I'm gonna be fat on Thanksgiving, and I'll be fat every day before and after that. Maybe not after that. I'm getting better. Gonna go to the gym today, putting it on wax that I will go to the gym today, so that if I don't, you know, the one or two people who still sometimes listen to this podcast can tell me in 4 months when I go outside again and talk to those people that I went to the gym. And I'll know that I did. Unless I don't, in which case, fuck you. There it is, starting hostile with the audience anyway. That's fun. My mind today is focused mostly on the music industry and the state of it, mostly because me and the sad boys, sad giants, go check out my band right now. Pause this, delete the entire episode, delete your phone, fucking factory reset your phone, and then go and download Sad Giants, all the albums, the 2 EPs. We don't have albums. We don't have a full album yet. We've been a band for like 7 years and haven't made an album. It's, I'd say it's not by choice, but you kind of do have to choose to record an album. And we've just never had thousands of dollars laying around. You know what I mean? We were hoping to record with some guy at the college who's like doing a final project thing, and scheduling just became too much, so he backed out. So now I'm just sitting here like, all right, well, back to square one. I spent the entire pandemic, basically, even before the pandemic, I wrote a fuckload of songs like 4 years ago. I spent the pandemic tweaking those songs, splitting them into different songs via mitosis, and now I've got like a dozen songs that I'm fairly proud of. 2 songs with the band now. We've got Learned and ready to go. So we got some new stuff whenever I can book a show again, because all the places I knew and people I knew are either closed down or they have gone crazy, which happens frequently in the music industry. People just deal with shitty bands too much and shitty bar patrons, and their brain breaks in half and they can no longer book shows, which I understand as a man who ran a comedy open mic for 2 years during the pandemic. I also don't want to do those things anymore. But yeah, the state of the music industry. You really do just have to fucking do everything yourself. These days, everyone's always like, you don't have to do everything yourself. Hire an editor off of Fiverr. Hire these people to do your social media. And again, that comes down to who the fuck has the money to hire teenagers to figure out TikTok for them. I sure don't. But I'm sure there's plenty of like Gen Z companies where they come in and tell millennials like, oh, the problem is you're not making a funny face at the end of this video, and then putting the hashtag, oh, dumb face. So like, I don't fucking know. I tried doing the TikTok thing for the last release, and I failed miserably. But I also kind of blame that on the song itself. It's a great song, independent of single scrutiny. Like, if it was on an album, it would be a good song. But as a single coming out, was just sort of depressing and slow and too simple, and everyone hated it. Everyone meaning nobody's listened to it, and no one has the desire to listen to it because it makes them sad, which is understandable. No one wants to, like, listen to a sad song a bunch during the time of year when everyone kills themselves. So that's on me. That's on the marketing department right here. That's on me for not knowing how to release a sad song that is also not featuring any of the band. That's just a full mistake, is trying to put all my time and effort into a single that doesn't even include the band. But it worked for Green Day once when they were already multi-platinum selling millionaires. Yes, I understand that it can work. But in the case of a band no one's ever heard of, people don't frequently flock to, hey, this really sad acoustic song where this guy sings way too rough is my favorite. No one says that. Also, my guitar sucks. My guitar playing sucks. Can we talk about that? When you're a band in the rock genre, you have to play guitar. You just like fucking have to. And if you don't, you're like, what are you even then? Are you a new wave band? People don't make pop rock bands like they used to. Everyone has like technical skill now, and there's like no excuse not to be good at your instrument. There's a million YouTube tutorials. So the fact that I suck at guitar should be like a novelty, right? Like, hey, I only use like 2, maybe 4 chords because nothing can stay up in this fucking brain. It worked for Daniel Johnston, and he tried to crash an airplane with his dad in it. Do I just got to do more crazy stunts outside of music, like try to kill my family? More on that later. I saw a article, specifically, if I'm talking on the music industry, that said that touring musicians are basically just a traveling t-shirts. Like, bands are just traveling t-shirt salesmen now. And that couldn't be more true. Ticket sales being scooped up mostly by Ticketmaster, venues, all the greedy third parties that exist. It's like, oh, yeah, this band sold out this show, but they're only going to get like 30% of those ticket sales, and then that 30% has to be split amongst not only the band, but probably a management of some sort. And even if it isn't management, if you play a show and you're only getting like 10% of the show money that came from it, think about how much that sucks for a band who isn't playing to 1,000 people or more. You know, like, hey, you sold this place out. It was 1,000 people showed up to see you. We're gonna only pay you 300 people's worth, and you personally are only going to get 100 of those people's worths of money. And it's like, okay, well, at the end of the day, basically just taking home like $500, you know, like. And that's great for any band. If any band can get paid $500 for a show, you're doing great. I'm just saying the math of like even being successful in a band is fucking ridiculous. So you have to rely on merch sales, which is mostly driven by t-shirts, because people like to wear stuff. Are t-shirts becoming just a thing that you make for like bands? Because who the fuck even likes t-shirts anymore? I don't like t-shirts anymore because I don't ever fit in them, and they all fucking... People that listen can't see this. I'm wearing a pup shirt. You can't really tell because everything has completely flaked off of it. So yeah, that's the state of the music industry, is just ineffective t-shirt salesmen trying to peddle you their emotions in exchange for currency. And I have lots of emotions, but I am very bad at selling them. I got lots of emotions. I'll never be able to convince you they're valid. Maybe if I write a really good song about how I feel, everyone will buy my t-shirts. And that seems like a terrible business model. Like, when I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, I have a lot of feelings, and then I want to sing about those feelings, and then when I sing about those feelings, people buy t-shirts. Is that, like, that's It's just a t-shirt company with extra steps. And I've never been like, I want to run a t-shirt company. No, I want to play songs that make people feel like their own feelings are valid. Like, hey, here's the shit that is running through my brain and how I'm feeling. Hopefully you can relate enough that this song reaches you on some level, you know? But that's not a thing you can monetize, I guess, unless people pay for music again, which is not a thing that's going to happen. Streaming has made it too convenient. Then you end up in the shitty internet hole of having to produce rage bait because that is the most effective marketing campaign when you are dealing in the currency of emotion. You get what I mean? It's the same way that those shitty cooking shows pop up on TikTok and YouTube because, like, now, I don't mean regular cooking shows. I mean specifically they're like, we're going to take 10 pounds of macaroni and then we're going to stomp them with our feet and then we're going to cover it in chocolate. And this is a delicacy in our family, where they're just like fucking with you so that you watch it and click on it and comment like, you're a fucking idiot. Music is becoming that too, because emotions aren't valid unless they're the biggest emotion. That's what matters to the algorithm. We had this same problem with the fucking epic bacon era of like Tumblr internet. Everything had to be the best. Everything had to be epic. Everything had to be fucking narwhal bacon great. That left no room for anything to just be good. And so now all the kids say everything is mid because everything is so great and awesome and everything's got to be the best. And so now that nothing is good, everything is just okay. It's awful. It was an awful way to have creative expression. Everything has got to be, oh, I wrote this song because I was super depressed, and if you don't like this song, I'm going to be dead. Like, I have to like this song about you or else I'm complicit in you being dead. No thanks. And so it's like, how much do you play that? How much do you play into that game? Rending your heart in order to produce blood for all of your viewers to drink. You fucking vampires. Marketing pre-algorithm was already a fucking nightmare. And now trying to appease the algorithm and market towards people that the algorithm will even deign to show your content to is becoming an even greater nightmare, because I've seen bands that are just straight up lying because fuck it. That's what the algorithm wants, is just big giant lies. You know, they'd be the people. I saw this girl on TikTok. I don't remember what it was. She's just like an indie pop artist, but she's just like, oh, it's crazy that I'm Hillary Clinton's daughter and I'm doing all this, you know, like just lying so that people go and look her up, and they look up her songs, and then they look for some sort of media, and then suddenly there's a fuckload of interaction going around the internet of your name, your song, because people are trying to figure out if you're lying or not, which you obviously are. But that's not a negative anymore, because like at least all the acts and bands I've run into on TikTok and, you know, Instagram and some of the online spaces, it's more of just a get it however you can. So I don't know. I think I might just start fucking lying. I think I might just start going on TikTok and straight up lying, because then people will be like, this guy's lying. And then I'm like, that's a comment. That's a comment for me. I win. I did it. I appeased the algorithm with interactive content. So yeah, we're all just content factories and hawking t-shirts. And it's just a whole big mess. Anyway, that's probably enough waxing philosophic on the music industry at large. That's enough for anyone's brain. Is damn near 20 minutes of random bullshit. So I'll hit you up next week with a real podcast with guests and stuff. Just wanted to put out something. Maybe I'll even clip parts of this out and put it on the internet so people will be like, this guy's just bitter that he's ugly and unpopular. And I'm going to be like, yeah. Would you not also be angry if you were like old and unpopular and everyone said your art was shit? And it's not even that. It's getting no interaction that sucks, because it's like, wow, I'm not even interesting enough for people to hate. Which I'm starting to, which is great. People shitting on me on TikTok for being a cringy millennial. I love that. What else would I be? You know, like, but I don't know. I hate to say it, but guys, working on big things. Fucking keep up. I'm about to blow your mind with all the art I'm going to make in 2024. So stick with me through this shit and we'll get somewhere cool eventually. I promise. As long as random college kids don't keep flaking out on my cool ass band. No, we'll probably just record shit ourselves. I'll make a bunch of TikToks about it. It'll be such an honest display of a band trying to make it in the modern industry that someone's going to care. No one's going to care. If the Swellers couldn't make it in the industry, like, what chance do I have? And I know you're like, who's the Swellers? Exactly, man. They were a band that, like, I can't tell if they were late or early to the party, but whatever they were doing, it was good band. It was a good band that wrote some decent songs, and then they just got passed over. So it'll happen. It'll happen to you too. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I've been trying to like hype up my scene via free blogging, but when no one really gives a shit about blogs. So I feel like I have to figure out a way to, like, I don't know, maybe I'll just do the Anthony Fantano thing of like just making my review also a video, and then people can interact with the content without even having to read, because all you motherfuckers are illiterate and have absolutely no media literacy. I don't know. I'm going to spend the next 40 minutes that would have been this podcast to get better at guitar and learn how to write a fucking song. So thanks for tuning in to the Petri Dish. This has been an episode. Come back next Tuesday for something even more.